Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody on Facebook. Tashi, good morning, sweetheart. How are you? Between Harvey and Houston and then Game of Thrones last night, MTV Video Music Awards, it was an insane evening.
Whoa. How do you go to the
Let's
mountain?
go to the Morning Mountain Cam. It's brought to you by Black Diamond
Did you
Experts.
just compare Harvey with
No, I said it was
MTV Music Awards?
I said it was a crazy night because I was switching between all three of them trying to cover Black Diamond Experts, electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Jeez, you're just fussy today.
Well, I tell you what, there's weird... First of all, I got to tell you, Utah is ready. Everybody's sleeping with their boots on, which I always love that expression because I just made it up, which is basically they're ready to go. All the services ready to go to Texas, to Dallas, and help out. And so everybody's just like, ready.
Well, they already sent 200 volunteers and a whole bunch of food. And
Right.
as a matter of fact, the LDS Church pulled, I guess it was like 3 food trucks worth of food and water
Right.
out of the Bishop's Storehouse here. They're sending it down to the one there, along with another 200 volunteers. And I guess the church is cool with this, with disaster stuff. They have structural engineers, emergency room doctors, and a whole group of like mental health counselors that they send around as units.
This is the state as well.
Yeah,
the
everyone's
state.
jumped in.
Don't send food, by the way. Send money. Red Cross.
Money. They can make that go so much farther. All you have to do
Actually-
is go to redcross.org. Redcross.org. You can donate right through there.
It actually takes more labor and people from doing other things to sort the food, which is interesting because in the old days that's the way you did it. Now cash makes it work, and but the Utah teams are ready to go down. And the heartbreaking news, and I can't believe who had to make this decision, but they have to release water from the dams so they won't breach.
So the true horror of that
Someone
is...
had to make the decision that water is going to go through neighborhoods.
So the true horror of this is they're flooding their neighborhoods to keep from a dam breach, which is obviously much worse. And the rain is still sitting there, according to the weather pattern. I mean, we talked about this Friday, just how screwed Houston was. But I was watching a meteorologist, and the weather pattern that kept pulling all this moisture out of the Gulf is just sitting there. I mean, they've had 2 feet of rain, and they say nothing's going to let up for another 2 days. It's like I feel so badly for them.
And I also heard that the storm decides to go out to the Gulf and regenerate and then come back in.
That's nice, just to refresh itself.
And then the dam, and then they're rescuing a couple, 200, 300, 400 people, grabbing them off balconies, grabbing them off roofs and stuff like that. Oh, we do have a picture of one of the people who scampered out, don't we?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Let's look at the picture of the dog.
You know, it's really sad when even your pets are looting during an emergency.
They're not. No one's looting.
That dog is literally carrying a bag of dog food in his teeth.
That's looting, but not the people.
None of the people, just the
Right.
dog. But this is Otis the dog, and apparently his owner came home just in time to see him literally walking. She goes, and this isn't our dog food. She says, I don't even recognize the bag.
Oh my God.
And the dogs, and she said Otis was just walking down the street holding this random bag of dog food.
And it's so funny because all the fishermen and stuff have jumped in all their little boats, and they put all their boats in and stuff and their skiffs, and they're going around the neighborhood taking tallies of
Picking
what's
people
going
up.
on.
Yeah.
And if you remember what the mayor said, and this was backed up by the governor, he said, just before Harvey hit, he said, do me a favor if you're going to ride this one out. He said, take a magic marker and write your name on your arm with your social security number so we can identify your body.
Wow.
I'm sure that moved a couple thousand people out of the city.
And I'm certainly hoping so.
And now they're paying for it. I mean, with the flood water, there's nowhere to go.
Well, you know, for a lot of those people that didn't leave, they couldn't. They didn't have cars, or they didn't have the funds, or they didn't have anywhere to go. So for a lot of them, they're like, this is the only thing I've got, and I'm going to stay put.
Right.
And so, I mean, they talked to a father this morning, Jeremiah, and he had a son, Jeremiah Jr., 6 years old, and they got picked up by one of the buckets from the helicopters.
They lifted him.
And he says, we've got a backpack of some clothes and some food. And he goes, that's it. He says, everything's gone. They were on the first floor of an apartment
No
building. And they
insurance.
pulled them off, I guess, the third or the fourth.
Yeah.
But President Trump is supposed to visit Houston today, and the governor of Texas is saying, we're really in a big state of emergency, and we appreciate the fact that you're concerned and you care and you want to be here for us. But it takes a lot of resources when you have the President of the United States
Right.
going there. He goes, could you go to Corpus Christi? Because at least the relief
They're
efforts
together.
are starting there. But Houston is very much still under siege. So it's really a bad time.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Utah's ready to help.
that's
Whenever.
been a lot.
I want to show you a church, an abbey. Why don't you show them the picture of the church, because this is kind of an interesting story. And it's do you remember last week we showed you a picture of an art display, and they were set up on pedestals like dominoes.
Oh, yeah.
And someone was taking a selfie, and they bumped into the first one, and it took like 8 of them out.
How many? It was like $700,000 worth of damage or something.
Right, because selfies cause damage. This abbey that you're seeing is a church, and inside the church is a sandstone coffin carved out of one piece of rock.
Now, how old was this thing? It's unimaginably, just like psychotically old, right?
A gazillion.
800 years old. That's right.
800 gazillion years
this
old.
This is like a sacred, object at this point, especially for this part of the country.
Yeah, and the parents went, you know what'd be so cool? We take our daughter and we set her inside the coffin, and then we take a picture of her.
Everything is wrong with this story. Everything.
And what do you think happens?
I'm going to can you picture putting Zoe in a coffin for a cute picture?
No. Plus the fact that it's an antique and
800-year-old, yeah.
Not an antique. It's a piece of history.
Yeah.
And the little bugger, not the buggers.
The little minx.
No, not the kid's fault.
No,
Parents.
it's not. She's 6.
It breaks in half.
Now, here's the best part. They just got up and ran off. They
Yeah.
found all of this out because they had surveillance cameras, because it's a historical piece of the country.
Right.
And they saw the whole scenario act out. And then, they ran off being tourists, saying, oh, well, none of this is our problem.
And one thing I think I should recommend, because they're talking about fixing it and how they're going to, it's sandstone, I'm going to say Gorilla Tape or Gorilla Glue, because I've seen the commercials and it works really well.
I'm not sure that really is going to pay off here.
It could help.
No, nothing's going to help now.
Well, those people are going to be in trouble, but not like this next person.
Okay, we always love stories of people who are going to hell, and that's when you have done something so spectacularly awful that really, there's a corner suite reserved for you now, and you're going to be in the boiling tar upside down. So just plan on it. Now, this guy, he's a former Utah County Commissioner, Gary Anderson.
Hi, Gary.
He participated in a scheme to defraud investors of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, Gary.
By posing as an LDS general authority.
Gary.
He presented himself as an LDS general authority to tell people you should invest in this business.
Oh, Gary.
Yeah, this I guess has been going on and off for the last 5 years.
Oh no!
And he was they finally managed to track him down because number one, he doesn't look anything like the LDS General Authority he was attempting to impersonate. And,
he actually used a name.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It was good.
Oh, Gary.
And so at this point, he had to plead guilty to communications fraud, several felonies, unlawful activity, impersonating.
Being an ass.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
And so...
Stealing.
Here's the interesting thing. He managed to avoid jail time, which I'm a little astonished
How is that?
I don't know. I guess the other guy who was most involved in the fraud, who funneled out all the money, is in jail. But
he was only a little bit guilty.
He was the participatory, you should invest because I'm an LDS General Authority guy.
Gary.
Gary, you're going to hell.
Oh,
Let's just be honest, dude.
We'd like to help you, but...
No, you're going straight to hell.
Yeah, but say hi to him when you get there, because we're on our way.
They got. Yeah, that's true. Our names are on the list, too. It's all right.
Now, is this a discovery? Is this a local discovery?
This is something that they have found. They've been doing treatments for severe depression at some of the clinics along the Wasatch Front.
Right.
And of all things, this is what they found. Special K, you probably have heard the phrase before. It's actually the drug ketamine. It's one of the...
I thought the story was about the cereal.
No, dear.
No, Special K, right?
Special K is the nickname, the club name for the date rape drug, ketamine. It's also used as an animal tranquilizer and sometimes used in surgery.
Okay.
One of its problems is that it's hallucinogenic and it also causes memory loss. So when you come out of the drug, you don't really remember anything that happened.
That's why it's misused.
Been so useful for what it was for date rape. But this is
Right.
what the weird thing they found out, though. They have found a 75 to 90% response rate for improvement of severe depression by small incremental uses of the drug.
Under supervision of a doctor.
Yeah, these are all clinics. These are professional doctor
Right.
clinics, and it's interesting. Dr. Drashel, who runs one of them down in Springville, Noetic Psychiatry, said that he'd witnessed results with his patients with treatment-resistant depression. They received injections, typically administered twice a week for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And he said in less than 24 hours after the first session, he said not only, and these were severely like suicidal
Right.
patients.
Yeah.
He said not only were all the suicidal intentions gone, but they also experienced a rapid shift into behaving and feeling normally again. The severe depression being lifted. He said there's no high, there's nothing like that.
Oh, really?
And there's
Okay.
not the emotional spikes that you see a lot of times with some of the other antidepressants.
Well, the meds are
But it's
horrible for some
absolutely
people.
amazing. He says ketamine kind of loosens the inhibitions and the psyche. He says people will tolerate more stress, so they're more willing to talk about and think about things that they normally avoid,
Okay.
which is what makes treatment work better for them. So the twice a week sessions run about 45 minutes each. You have to be driven home by someone else. Not surprising there.
But not that you're crazy high.
Yeah.
Right?
70.
You said.
No, not like that at all. It's just
Okay.
that you're not really capable of driving well. But this is amazing. Gina Cousins is a patient from Spanish Fork, and she said, but just by the first treatment, I was getting up, cleaning, and wanting to go out. She was severely agoraphobic. She hadn't left her house in years. And literally after one treatment, she was ready to step out and try to live again.
And is this available now, or is this a study?
It's unfortunately still in the study stage, but 75 to 90%
That's crazy.
success.
That's like almost a cure.
Can you imagine?
Right?
How cool this will be?
And I also read a little bit about this, and because I knew it wasn't the cereal, Lucky Charms.
Were you just playing dumb?
It's not a plan. Is the fact that the side effects are so much. I mean, because the other drugs that people are taking,
There's some severe side effects. Yeah.
severe.
So that's a wonderful thing.
All right, coming up, Your Face Is Not Your Own. NASA kicks Game of Thrones butt.
In the ratings. Pretty cool. But first, let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink & McGregor. Mortgage is made simple. Just go to fink-mcgregor.com. It's a 4-minute mortgage quiz. It gives you some options, and you get a call back from Fink & McGregor within 1 business day. Also by Executive Transportation. There's a beautiful fleet of shiny, gorgeous Escalades just waiting to take you anywhere. You can contact March for your ride at executiveutah.com. And all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, 24-hour service, because you know you're going to need it. allutahplumbing.com. Good morning, Daisy. What's going on today? I'm gonna go check.
So it's making headlines Monday, August 28th on GephartDaily.com. A Spanish Fork man is in custody accused of strangling his 35-year-old wife. Curtis Nichols, also 35, was booked into the Utah County Jail Friday, where he now faces a murder charge in the death of his spouse, Robin Nichols. Police were called to a home Thursday at 1050 South 900 East with reports of an unconscious woman. Medical teams attempted first aid but were unable to revive her. An autopsy report later revealed she had been strangled. Unified Police have identified a man who was shot to death on a street corner in Midvale late Saturday night. Investigators say 21-year-old West Valley City resident Jordan Battelle Moulton was found dead about 10 p.m. in the corner yard of a home at 142 West Columbia Drive. They say he appeared to have died from a single gunshot wound. Neighbors reported hearing a car speed away shortly after the shooting, and anyone with information in the case is asked to call Unified Police. A brawl involving 30 to 50 adults and juveniles had every available police unit in West Valley City speeding towards the Burger King near 3500 South Redwood Road early Sunday morning, all because a couple of love-struck women couldn't have things their way. Witnesses told Gephardt Daily the two women squared off over the affections of a man whom they both fancied when others in the crowd began to trade punches. The fisticuffs lasted for nearly half an hour until police brought the situation under control. Multiple suspects were arrested on a variety of charges and whisked into the Salt Lake County Jail. There were no reports of serious injuries. And time now for a look at the Wasatch Front forecast, where temperatures will once again flirt with the 100-degree mark under mostly sunny skies. Lows will remain in the upper 60s and low 70s. That's it for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com.
Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple of years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink and McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Just go there, fill it out, up and running.
How long until you get back to us?
1 business day. Whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
Where do you get the down though if you're broke?
It can be a gift from family, relative, significant other, even your work.
Gift, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me wish?
What?
Makes me wish I had friends with money. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Do you remember Bill? You remember Nye?
Of course.
Did you watch it?
We all grew up with
I
Bill
watched
Nye.
him.
This is how we learned science.
Bill Nye taught us about gravity. He's taught us about chemical reactions. There he is. Right now, he's campaigning for global warming because it's science.
Well, he's not campaigning for it. He's campaigning for education.
Right. Well, no one goes around going, global warming, do it. No,
Kind
no
of
one
the way
does
you
that.
said it, I thought.
No.
Okay.
So he comes under attack because he talks about global warming and science. And so recently, though, you kind of picture him as being a very positive person, don't you?
90% of the time he was wonderful. I remember a couple of years ago they actually did this poll in Seattle of who's the most eligible bachelor here in Seattle, and their beloved gorilla. I don't believe his name's Coco, but it's something similar. At the zoo, actually was number 1, and then Bill Nye was number 2. And he says coming in number 2 to Coco is more than an honor. So he's a guy with an awesome sense
He was
of
the
humor.
first human
Yeah.
on the list.
Yeah, so that was good.
Well, right now, Bill Nye hates Mickey. Mickey Mouse.
There's a good reason.
Now, he's suing Disney. And the reason is, during a show that was on PBS back in 1993 to 1998, which was a fun show to watch, he says that, claiming he was denied $9 million in profits from the popular program. So,
$9 million is a lot of money to be denied because Disney's got lots of money.
yeah.
If that was his chunk, he should probably have it, I'm thinking.
And of course, the attorneys for Disney stepped up and said,
No, this is the part that's ridiculous
Here's
because
the
this
quote.
is so not his personality. This lawsuit is a publicity ploy, and we look forward to vigorously defending it. Really? When is the last time you've seen Bill Nye the Science Guy try a publicity ploy?
right?
Ever.
He will destroy you with science.
He will.
Yeah, he'll take his table of elements and just upside the head.
Every one of us will be behind him, too.
This is true, he will, even if it's not true.
Because we love him.
I know.
It's Bill Nye,
I know.
right? He wouldn't lie.
This is true.
All right, let's move on to Christopher's. It's our big thank you. And this is just a moment of real huge gratitude because, you could have gone a lot of different ways when we left radio and we went to a digital platform. And instead you said, I will stay with Todd and Erin.
Wow.
And we're stunned and grateful. So here's the deal. We have dinner for 4 at Christopher's Prime Steakhouse. It's glorious. The food is unnaturally delicious. It's better than any of us even deserve. And yet we will be there for you because we will send you there along with a wonderful limo service.
Actually, you're wrong. We won't be there with you.
Well, no,
because no
we'll be
one's
there.
invited us.
We'll be there for you. But,
Sort of.
Yeah, in spirit, apparently.
We'll have our faces pressed up against the glass.
There were 2 people who were actually cruel enough to send us pictures like, this is delicious. And we're like, that looks great.
I thought you were nice.
We're having hot
people.
dogs for dinner. They're like, take a look at this lobster corn dog. Isn't that nice? I'm like, that's so great for you. Also, executive transportation jumps in. They'll pick you up. They drive you around. You don't have to worry about parking or designated drivers or anything. The whole point of the night is to take care of you. So if you'd like to enter, all you have to do is drop a comment right now because you're watching the show and we'll see the timestamp so we know that you are watching. And just mention that you like Christopher's and you'd like to go there. And you can do that on the Todd and Erin Facebook page, the Gephardt Daily Facebook page, or the Gephardt Approved Facebook page.
All right.
And we sincerely appreciate you.
All right, so coming up, I want you to do a test right now. Quick. You're a John with a prostitute. What's your excuse? We're going to find out next.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. Electric, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. You'll be glad you called an expert. Fink and McGregor, mortgage is made simple. Make sure you go to fink-mcgregor.com and try out their 4-minute mortgage program. It's incredibly easy to find out whether you qualify.
The Todd and Erin morning stream is actually available anytime at GephardtDaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
All right, so the Powerball winner, $758 million, has decided to take the cash all at once, which is $480 million.
You go.
After taxes,
Oh,
it's
no.
only a piddly $336 million.
That's it?
I
Why
mean,
even bother
really,
now?
really, after takeout and cut flowers, what do you really have? Nothing. So anyway, this person decided to stay in their own house and is now being stalked by the world. So
That might have been her first mistake.
in
Yeah.
Chicopee, Massachusetts, they have.
You're from Massachusetts. Where's
Yeah.
Chicopee?
It's right over about there, and so they have stepped up their patrols, the police, and they're guarding this person. People are hiding.
Trying really hard to help her out, but
A lot of press are down there, fake news, knocking on her door all hours of the night, front and back door, and windows, hiding in bushes with cameras, trying to get more. Now, she has, let me go through this again, $336 million.
she did quit her job, which isn't surprising.
It's
but
a she, right?
Yeah, and
Mavis.
the thing that's kind of sweet about this, though, is
She
all of
quit
her
her
neighbors
job.
are really irritated by it because they said that people have been knocking on their back doors, going through their backyards,
Right.
going, hey, can you tell me where she lives? I heard she
Right.
lives around here. And she says, we've told all of them she's not here. So
Right.
basically, her neighbors have all been covering for her. But literally, this is what you turn into. You're now under siege.
She should just kill him.
What?
Hire someone. She's got enough money.
What is
Hire a
wrong with
professional
you?
assassin. I watched movies. I watched a movie
Why would
yesterday.
you do that? You could
The
just go buy
CIA
an island and live there. Why would you hire an assassin, you freak?
Just out of spite, and then get your island. Dig a moat. Put alligators in it.
That has no logical sense to it at all.
It doesn't matter. You have $336 million. There is nothing logical about that.
You were the weirdest man ever.
No, it could get worse.
I'm not sure how. Hey, I want all this money, so I'm going to go to prison for life because I'm going to hire people to kill all my stalkers.
All right.
How about if you just go buy a nice hotel somewhere?
Like
Live there alone.
The Grand America.
Yeah, just live
The
there
whole
alone.
thing.
Exactly.
All right. Can I try this out?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Honey, I was with a prostitute because it seemed like she needed a college fund. Hey, honey, guess what? The reason I was with that prostitute is because it seemed that she needed comforting because she had no money. No?
Try this one. Hey,
Okay.
honey, you're going to have to come bail me out of jail.
Right.
And then we have to go get my car because it was impounded.
Because
I was with a prostitute.
not one of those were.
No, none of those are going to pay off. But here's the deal. They just started a brand new sting in Salt Lake County for prostitution. And this time they're targeting the Johns. They're targeting the men who patronize this. And the reason why they said is they've changed this to a Class A misdemeanor. Restrictions on the jail lifted. They said you will go to jail if you're arrested for soliciting a prostitute. Your car will be impounded.
Right.
And someone will have to come and bail you out. See, part of the deal, and the reason why they're hitting this as hard, and this is interesting to me because it's a very, very good point, is
Right.
they said almost every single case of prostitution when we've actually spoken with the sex worker and finally gotten
Right.
her into the system is that this is invariably tied with human sex trafficking.
Is it?
And it's a huge deal. You may remember last year.
So you're saying it's organized?
Yeah, exactly. They said, you may remember last year, they literally raided 4 different houses down in West Valley City and Taylorsville, and every one of them were human sex trafficking from other countries. So they're saying this isn't something that we can just overlook anymore and go, oh, it's sex workers. They said, no,
Right.
this is human trafficking. And you remember that our Attorney General from Utah here, Sean Reyes, actually went down to South America, and he actually took part in one of the stings.
We're not talking just a sting in a room. We're talking
Unimaginable. They were going to create
danger.
Yeah, he risked his life to be part of it. And
Yeah.
so for them, they're like, this is something where we can no longer just stand here and say, oh, it's not a serious
It's just
crime.
Pretty Woman. I saw the movie over the weekend.
Yeah, so it's no longer that way. So they said, yeah, you will be arrested. We impound your car, and it's a $2,500 fine.
You know in other cities what they've done? They publish the pictures. Oh. They publish the pictures of the Johns.
Tell me that would not be a deterrent.
All the mugshots.
Yeah, apparently they arrested a huge. I don't have the exact.
Yeah,
figure.
no, it was
But
huge.
during the sting,
it was hundreds.
Yeah, they over the last 10 days or so, they've arrested a shocking amount of people, men patronizing.
And there is no good
prostitutes.
excuse, really. No.
No, not really. Let's be honest.
And I would like to know what the percentage is of people who don't get bailed out. Either don't make the call or are left there on purpose.
Can you imagine?
If I was a woman,
And who are you going to call? Hey, Mom, my wife wouldn't bail me out. I was, hello?
All right.
There's.
I'd
Who
let
are you going to call your boss? I mean, nobody's.
I'd let you sit.
Think about that for a while. So anyway, it was interesting
excuse.
to me because I guess I've never thought of it like that before. Because there's been so many different talks about sex workers and maybe they have the right to do this and maybe they should just be licensed and everything. But when you look at it in that particular way and you look at how serious it is, no wonder they're being so aggressive. So
All right.
it was interesting.
So Game of Thrones on last night. Now
Please,
but shh. Oh, petit moucho, don't ruin it for everyone. So she wants to
can I
do
do
the
one
spoiler.
spoiler? Please,
no,
can I do one spoiler?
No.
Please,
See,
please,
people
please.
are just tuning out.
If you're not listening,
okay.
just okay.
Stop. She's not going to.
All right.
It's
On
okay.
Facebook, they said that they would like to hear the spoiler.
No. People recorded this. They're going to watch it. They're looking forward to this. You would be the Grinch of Thrones. But they're not.
Okay.
They're not the biggest thing. I know you've been hearing about them forever, but they're not the biggest thing. Move over, Game of Thrones. NASA is here to kick your butt.
How very often do you see the scientists totally taking down the social media phenomenon?
I have no idea. But during the eclipse, I mean, we're talking minutes. 40 million people watched it on on NASA's website.
The website and social media. They all tuned into NASA.
Oh my
Isn't that a
gosh.
beautiful shot?
They are that was just incredible. It makes me a little bit sad that many people weren't outside looking at it, but I guess
Well,
from
maybe
around
they
the world,
couldn't.
right?
Maybe they
They weren't in the swath of goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I just thought that's extremely cool. So it's literally more than twice the Game of Thrones finale, which has got to be so epic for the nerds at NASA right now.
12 million unique views on the live eclipse page and 2 million simultaneous, at the viewing at the same time, which is weird because I keep getting bumped off our wireless connection at home, and these guys handle 2 million people online at the same time.
Can you imagine their server?
And I get bumped off because the door opens.
Anyway, congratulations, NASA. We're very
Nice
happy
job.
for you.
And thank you
Take that, Game of Thrones.
And thanks for not ruining that and spoiling that for
there's just
people.
this one thing- there's just one thing about Jon Snow
Be nice. Be nice. All right. So
You're killing me.
I have something a little scary to tell you.
This is creepy.
This is really creepy. Your face is not your own anymore. Can you imagine if you're tagged on Facebook and your name comes up and your face is now on record? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's part of their facial recognition program,
Right.
so that it's more easily able to tag you in different photographs.
Right. So it now does that. Now, they also, because if you use a retina scan on anything or a thumbprint or anything, see where we're going here. And this is not like a conspiracy theory.
This is for real.
They can actually pick people out of a concourse at an airport now when they have a database of people that they're watching for, they're looking for. And this thing will go and sort through them all and go, that's Bob. And there's no way to hide from it. Even if you wear sunglasses, they say, most cases they can get you.
Well, for the Department of Homeland Security and the do not fly list, that's a good thing. But for Facebook, this is a bad thing because basically what they're saying now is the minute that they do digitize you, you're in the facial recognition program and they have you tagged,
You will be simulated.
they own your face. Meaning that if they wanted to replicate your face or replicate your image to use in advertising or other options, they could because they own the digitization
Yeah, that's a computer
of your
thing.
features.
Right. Now, the point is, some people say, why don't you walk around and go, ooh, like that? Doesn't work. Do you know why? Because the measuring points are in the corner of your eyes, center of your eyes, the eye's location on the face. No one's symmetrical, by the way.
No.
Your nose, your chin, your mouth, top, bottom lip, ears, back here. All that stuff comes in, and it's like a fingerprint.
Facebook owns
They
you.
can actually tell the difference between identical twins.
No freaking way.
I'm freaking you out. They can. So good luck with that.
Wow, mind blown. Really? Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. So, and you, do identical twins? Do they have the same fingerprint? Mm-hmm. No, they don't.
I thought it was just reflected, like mere reflection, like
Nope.
it was an opposite.
No.
I thought it was.
No, they're going to jail too. Okay, so what do we got coming up?
Well, there's no reason for the identical twins to go to jail. They haven't done anything.
Oh, they were the
They're not
prostitute, maybe.
They weren't part of the prostitution story. They're
right.
not one of the ones who imitated the LDS General Authority. They're none of those.
That's true.
Identical twins are just minding their own business
All right.
over there,
So
owned by Facebook.
it's been tense around our house, hasn't it?
It's been a kind of exhausting.
I know.
You've worked very hard.
You have too.
Thank you
So
for telling
we're
me
trying to go on vacation. I just actually that was a real apology from me on air. That was weird. That was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Nice.
So we're trying to go on a vacation. We're going to Burning Man and setting up the kids, cooking the food, the trailer. I should have started like 2 weeks ago, and suddenly I'm fiberglassing the waste tank on my '69 Nomad trailer.
Nothing like watching your husband on his back underneath the
With
poop tank going,
poo.
You gonna be all right in
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
I'm gonna take the kids swimming, so just be careful.
It's all part of my celebrity lifestyle. And then the water system needed some work, the electrical. Now I can't get the running lights to work. Everything else worked. So, and then the only thing I've cooked, I usually cook and freeze and vacuum seal all this food. So far, you know what we have? 2 little bags of Italian sausage.
That's great. That's gonna get us far.
That's it. And if you don't know about Burning Man, you cannot buy things there. You cannot buy water.
Once you're in the middle of the playa,
You can't.
Yeah,
They
there's
don't.
nothing.
Oh, coffee and ice. That's what they sell. I don't know how the coffee snuck in there.
Sacred life-giving caffeine.
No,
is
they have
part
one.
Of any,
They have
any-
one coffee cafe for 70,000 people. That's like an afterthought.
Why do you think that you were so popular? Because at Burning Man, the whole point of this is that you do not buy or sell anything. You give things as gifts. You know, you offer your services or your skills or your talents, or you make jewelry or other things. And Todd was the coffee guy, so he would always make coffee, and then he'd go
big
around to the
pot
camps
like this.
around us, and people would be sticking out their reusable cup out of their tent and stuff like, please. And I was the sunblock person who I'd be slapping sunblock on people and lecturing them about melanomas. So
I got
wasn't
lined
as
twice
much-
for that.
I wasn't as much fun as Todd was, but yeah.
So we're gonna do some reports for you. So we'll give you a little taste of what's
It's gonna be
going on
so
out there.
cool. You're gonna
So
love that.
if we ever make it out of the driveway,
That will be the first thing.
and so far we're gonna die of starvation and thirst unless I get my butt in gear. Okay, so what else
You
we
know
have?
what? Several bags of Cheetos and some salsa, and we'll be fine.
All right,
still
so
be fussy.
Venezuela and the LDS Church and Trump, those 3 words, really?
They all have something together. I'll
Coming
tell
up
you next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
God, I'm so feeling for this kid. Joshua Holt. Now, we've told you about this story before, and it's been a very long and sort of bizarre scenario, but Joshua Holt is from Utah. He went on a LDS mission down to Venezuela. He met a very nice young lady there. He went back after his mission, and they courted for a while, and then they got married. Now, they had a little apartment, and they were working towards a few things, maybe returning back to the States, returning to Utah, and Holt got arrested. They claimed that he was storing weapons in his apartment, which his mother in Utah County found bizarre. And since then, he's had very serious health problems in prison. His wife there can't help him. Nobody seems to quite know what's going on. And every time his appearance in court comes up, suddenly the judge isn't there anymore, which to me seems rather suspect. So there's been a huge amount of protests and requests for assistance and repeated pleas from his family here down to Venezuela to please release him. Finally, President Trump jumped in, and he just signed an executive order where he said that the United States is very concerned about the situation of Joshua Holt, a young American being detained illegally by President Maduro's regime for over a year now. We once again call for his immediate release on humanitarian grounds. So at this point, they're hoping that maybe this will
Encourage.
do something that will help them out. And Senator Orrin Hatch as well has been working to free him. I guess he was the one who requested President Trump jump in as well.
Right.
But the only thing at this point is if Senator Hatch didn't work out, maybe President Trump's request will kind of tip them over the balance.
Anybody.
But the whole thing has been really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, even for
Especially
them,
Venezuela.
it's been weird.
I mean, you would think that we just...
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat of a suspect presidential regime there, but they don't have any specific animosity towards the states. I mean, it's not like it was Moscow or something, or
Right.
North Korea. It was
Right.
Venezuela. And they came up with this, he was storing hand grenades and like militarized assault rifles. And they're like, the ex-missionary was storing assault rifles in his apartment. It's just been very strange and flimsy. So hopefully, if you've been working towards his release or are doing help or petitions or whatever, fingers crossed, maybe this will be the thing that finally tips it.
All right, Daisy has some national news for us.
Yes, it's brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Mortgages made simple. Just go to fink-mcgregor.com. Did you know that there's half a dozen different kinds of mortgages you'll never hear about from a bank? That's because fink-mcgregor.com can show them to you.
Did you know that you can get a house loan if you have a 600 credit score?
Kind of cool, huh?
It is.
I know.
USDA, the people who grade steaks, actually have a loan program.
Agricultural areas.
And also, if you you can have a gift now. Well, actually, this has been around for a while. Someone can actually gift you your down payment.
I wish I had more rich friends. In
I
any
do
case,
too.
also brought to you by Executive Transportation, the official limo service of the Todd and Erin Show. You can contact March for a ride at executiveutah.com. And Black Diamond Experts. That is Black Diamond Experts, electric, plumbing, heating, and air. You'll be glad you called an expert, blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, what's going on?
Hello, everyone. Here's a look at national and world news headlines this morning, Monday, August 28th on GebhardtDaily.com. The former Hurricane Harvey may now have been downgraded to a tropical storm, but it continues to cause untold suffering along the Texas coast. The storm has dumped more than 2 feet of rain on the Houston area since making landfall as a Category 4 hurricane late Friday night. Catastrophic flooding has overwhelmed the region of 6.6 million people, and it could be another couple of days before the storm dissipates. Donald Trump plans to visit the area Tuesday. And speaking of Trump, the Mexican government has responded to a weekend tweet where he once again claimed Mexico would pay for the newly planned border wall. The Mexican government responded immediately, saying Mexico would not pay for a wall under any circumstances. This determination is not part of a Mexican negotiating strategy, but a principle of national sovereignty and dignity, the statement said. And Secretary of State Rex Tillerson also seems to be telling Mr. Trump where to get off, at least where U.S. policies toward white supremacy are concerned. On Fox News Sunday, Tillerson was asked if Trump's remarks after the Nazi rally in Charlottesville cast a shadow on America's commitment to equality. Tillerson replied he doubted anyone truly questioned the United States' values on that subject. When pressed about the world's perception of Trump's values on racial equality, Tillerson tersely stated, "The president speaks for himself." That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to GebhardtDaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
And of course, my husband leaves, but that's just fine because I'm going to tell you about Black Diamond Experts. Now, when we say experts, Black Diamond is that lovely little company that basically anything that goes wrong in your house, you can call them and they can come and fix it. It's just that simple because they do electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Now, one of the reasons I really like these guys is they're licensed, bonded, and insured, meaning the person who shows up at your doorstep is going to have all of those attributes. You feel comfortable letting them into your house. They're going to give you a bid for the job, and it will be exactly what it is. When it's done and it's fixed and it's right, they will hand you a bill that's exactly what they quoted you, with no sneaky extra charges or late fees or extra widget bits, none of that stuff. And the nice thing about them is they also have 24-hour service, because we all know that when something's going to explode in your house, it never does it at a convenient time during business hours. It's always going to be like 2 in the morning when you're suddenly waist deep in raw sewage in your basement. These are the guys who know how to handle that stuff. Now, all you have to do is go to blackdiamondexperts.com. That's blackdiamondexpert.com. They'll have all the information there, everything you need to know. And then when you call them, you're going to be confident you're going to get the right guy for the right job. So it's Black Diamond Experts, electric, plumbing, heating, and air. You just walked right out on me, man.
I was busy because I was checking on the University of Utah. I wasn't.
That's a good save.
But if you listen very carefully. Listen. You know what you hear? the brains working at the University of Utah.
They're massive.
They keep coming up with stuff. I mean, this is like the fourth story in a month about all these breakthroughs they're having.
These incredible medical breakthroughs.
So what's this one?
Well, I never realized how bad this was. The last time that they were able to take a consensus was in 2015. Liver cancer killed 800,000 people worldwide.
Which is,
Now, the scary thing about liver cancer is it's one of those extremely virulent ones. And with these kind of strains, treatment is extraordinarily brutal and the survival rate tends to be quite low.
Okay.
And now if you're talking about a third world country
Oh.
where you don't have screening, and we all know that finding stuff like this as fast as humanly possible is the best chance of survival.
But it's not on a regular thing. It's like, is it on a regular blood screen? Is it on a regular
Not
anything?
really. So what they've been looking for now, I mean, obviously Huntsman has been going through this a lot. We're trying to find genetic markers and traits
Right.
and things. So what they've been doing is they've come up with a test now at the University of Utah, and it's led by chemistry professor Mark Porter and then surgeon Courtney Skyfe.
They look smart.
They do look smart. They have found out that they have a small portable screening test that can detect whether or not an individual is at risk for liver cancer within 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Now, screening for liver cancer now requires all these lab blood tests, ultrasound imaging, and then a very long wait.
Only if you know
Yeah,
that there's a problem.
That there's a problem. So you
Right.
can imagine what this is like in
Look how
countries where they
small it
can't
is.
afford it. So what they found out, they can do that. They can test administer the test wherever the patient is, and they're working to lower the cost to $3 per test.
What?
$3 per test. Can you imagine?
Wow.
So this is something that can find out within 2 minutes whether or not you have an issue, and that it only costs $3 to get. So this is something that could change the lives of
This is
hundreds of thousands of people who are at risk.
This is interesting because I mean this is going to probably continue, right? I mean, different things. They just did this with colon cancer, and now, and this is gross, but they send you a package. You put something in the package, and you send it back to the company. And for most people at reasonable risk, normal risk for colon cancer, boom, they send you back a report or to your doctor, and so you don't have to go through the other process of a colonoscopy. And now they have this, and now they have. This is going to keep going.
Well, it's interesting. They found that there's an alpha-fetoprotein that's a marker for this kind of event,
See?
where you watch a tumor grow.
Right.
And so once they see that marker
Right.
through the testing, then they can start aggressive treatment and work towards helping the patient survive cancer.
That's crazy cool.
The concept to me that they could do it so quickly now and it's altered from such a lengthy process, I mean, that's really exciting news. And it's so tiny and it's so affordable.
I know. And you just walk around with it.
And it changes everything.
All right,
I
so-
just think that's so cool.
So coming up, a Utah man decides to do something stupid, so he swims the English Channel. Why, you ask? We'll find out next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
Put together. All right. Back in the Todd and Erin morning stream, GephardtDaily.com.
Really quickly, I just
Sure.
want to tell Jana Marsh. I live south of Houston, but I'm visiting a daughter out of state. My husband's keeping me informed of the state of our house. So good so far. Watching you to keep my mind off home. Jana, we love you so much. Our fingers are totally crossed. You're going to be okay. Husband's okay. House will be okay. We know it. So
All
many,
right.
many, many good energies to you from here.
All right. Very good, Jenna. And we have a basement.
Just in case you
to
need
stay.
it,
Okay. All right.
we're here for you.
And we're on a hill, so there'll be no flood.
See, it all works out.
Coffee.
Fingers crossed.
You've seen these studies. These studies always come out, and then they say, like, chocolate is good for you, right? Mm-hmm. And they say, well, now there's a coffee thing, and it's bad for you again.
That's really weird because caffeine in the last few years, last decade, they've talked about how wonderful it is and increases awareness and alertness and all these different things, and it's actually good for you, and it can lower blood sugars and it can lower, cholesterol and stuff. So what's bad about caffeine? It's the sacred guardian of my life.
She doesn't even drink coffee.
Oh no, I cut out the middleman a long time
She
ago.
takes pills.
Caffeine pills. I go straight to the source. I don't have time to waste for that actual infusion of liquid.
Which makes me go like this. She...
I like a man who's tall, dark, and jittery.
Jittery, that's me.
Kind of sexy.
It blocks something in your brain, so you cannot detect sweets. hence donuts.
Now, what does that mean exactly?
It means when you drink caffeine, your tasting of sugar actually drops. So you're not getting enough sugar is what your brain's telling you. So you'll have 2 donuts instead of 1.
Oh, so your body will start craving more, thinking, oh, I didn't get enough of that I didn't get that sensation I was looking for.
And that's why they take donuts and they fill them with jam, right? Because it's not sweet enough. It's like taking French toast and doing sugar and then syrup and then powdered sugar on top. And sometimes that's just not enough.
No.
I've seen Pinterest. The thing that bothers me, right? They're just like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take a sugar cube and then we're going to roll it in some brown sugar. Now, after we roll it in the brown sugar, we're going to hold some healthy fruit over it, but not touch it, and then throw that fruit away. And then we're going to roll this in another sugar substance, cover it with syrup, and enjoy with a toothpick in a mason jar. The thing that the reason I want to talk about this is because think of over the years. Mm-hmm. Okay, so chocolate, it's good for you. Mm-hmm. Then it's bad for you.
Well, and like wine, they found that was good to lower risk of cholesterol, and it was good for your heart.
Right.
Wine.
And then they go, oh, no, it's not. And it keeps going back and forth. And one study says, chocolate's good, and the other one says it'll make you fat, but it's good. And the other one says, if you eat chocolate, you'll lose weight. And then the coffee thing, and the caffeine's good, and then caffeine's bad. And I just wish they'd make up their minds. I'm sure there's an upside to heroin, but...
Well, at this point, I don't even know, because Special K apparently, now ketamine we now know can help with depression and suicidal tendencies. So I really have no idea anymore about anything.
You know what this is like? This is like someone said you could get a worse sunburn on a cloudy day. Can you not win? You cannot win. Science, Bill Nye. What the hell?
All right. Now, I actually thought this was really, really cool.
Okay.
Spanish Fork resident Greg Mockett is the first Utah resident in the 50-plus category, meaning
right.
He's over 50,
right.
to swim the entirety of the English Channel. He completed the swim in 15 hours, 39 minutes, and 42 seconds.
How far is it?
And it was very funny. He says there's a reason there's not a whole lot of us in the 50-plus category.
It's a beating.
He began training seriously for the swim 3 years ago to demonstrate to members of his church congregation that achieving hard things is possible with God's help. So now he's got the pressure because the whole world's like, okay,
right.
You're going to prove this to us now.
You know how bad it would be if he drowned?
And
that would be horrible.
And heaven bless this man. He said, I felt very blessed to be able to finish. He said, I didn't feel like it was my own power. Even with all the training, I was grateful for the extra help. It is pretty intense because they have to have a support swimmer with them, an observer to make sure the swim's
right.
official. There's a channel pilot. Right. There's his wife and his swim coach and a boat alongside
Boats going
him.
alongside.
And it's interesting, and I've heard this many times from other marathon swimmers, it's so much harder than you think it's going to be. He says the water is cold, the salt burns your mouth.
I imagine it is hard.
And you get stung by jellyfish.
Right.
And it's brutal.
And
so
you cover yourself up with goop. Mm-hmm. And
it's nasty. He says there's nothing you can do. He got stung by jellyfish 6 times during the swim. He says there's nothing you can do. You put your head down and you keep swimming and you just kind of push through the pain. But I just think that's absolutely incredible. But he said that they said, how do you feel? Do you feel just amazed and proud? And he goes, I just feel relieved. And they said, why? And he goes, because I proved, to my ward that you can do what you tell God you can do. And
right.
he felt like he proved his point, and he's happy about it. And they asked if he was going to swim again. He went, no. But he did it. 50 plus.
I think the point that
what a dude.
When he said it's not as easy as you think. Who would think that swimming the English Channel would be easy?
Well, this man is very modest and he's sweet, and you can tell through the interview that he's sort of a man of understatement. He doesn't really blow things up, and so for him to going, it's not as easy as you think. I'm thinking he probably was screaming and writhing half the time.
Right. If I had to prove something to a congregation, I would tell them I was going to eat 4 pizzas. And it doesn't look as easy as it sounds. So I'm going to do it. And thanks for your belief in me.
I'm not really sure that that's the one that gives a powerful spiritual message.
It's about all I got. Swim the English Channel.
Good for you, pal. I think
if
it's
he didn't
amazing.
make it, it's just like Satan wins. That's horrible.
Isn't that awful? Think of the pressure.
That is horrible.
It's like, thanks, my 15-year-old son was just hanging on to see if it would work out. Now he's off doing drugs with those hooligans. I mean, think of the pressure.
It's for the kids in the hospital. It's for the kids in the hospital.
Ow, that was another jellyfish.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't look as easy. So,
6 jellyfish. I've been stung by one, and it was extraordinarily
I
painful.
got little ones. I hit a school of little ones. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if
No,
they're little.
little or big, they still hate
Yeah.
you.
You'd almost wish that a big one got you and just killed you.
Yeah, pretty much. Get it over with.
So we are taking a road trip, and we are going to Burning Man, and we have to drive towards Reno. And it's an 11-hour trip with us pulling a trailer. And so I just wanted to we don't play car games. We don't. Some of them, the famous ones, are the
Slug bug.
slug
and-
bug.
what is-
Padiddles. Padiddles are a big one.
What's the one you do when you go by the graveyard? What are you supposed to
You
do?
lift your... No, you hold your breath. You go over a bridge, you lift your feet.
You lift your feet.
Yeah.
Then you do the license plate bingo where you try to get
I hate
like
that one.
you try to get a license plate from every state and really. Did you guys ever do animal, vegetable, or mineral?
Yeah, guess what I'm thinking?
Yeah,
There's
that
this
went on-
icy
that went
spy with my little eye.
Yeah, that went on for days.
And it's
with us.
11 hours, so it's a long thing. You've got to gear up for this, and 5-hour energy isn't enough. Obviously, 3 of them will work. But my friends decided that on a freeway trip back east that we were going to stop at every town sign. Right?
Take a picture
And
so you have this
take a
travelogue
picture.
of
Yeah,
your- yeah.
We made it 2 towns. Yeah.
And then it's like, screw this, just keep speeding.
And
through.
then everyone sleeps while I drive.
And we appreciate that because that way we can be fresh and wake up and be rested, put on some costumes, go out and dance, and
Then
Todd's
I-
passed out underneath the trailer trying to still unhitch it from the car.
5-hour just dripping down like this. All right. All right. So
This is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
okay. So
Ever.
Don't show it yet. Don't show it. So Brian had fire start with a guy with burning weeds with a torch.
Genius, pal.
First of all,
Really?
really.
Peak fire season?
Fireworks. Other guy target shooting. And if you wonder why that is, sometimes a bullet ricochets off a rock and
Sparks.
there's a spark, or they're using the explosive little deals to the charge, and you shoot them and they go like that, and there's particles and stuff. Here, you'll never guess what started this fire. Take a look.
Okay, explain what that is.
Okay, just hang on. And this is a little grim because it is a hawk, and the hawk is carrying a snake. It's still in its talons.
Wow.
And evidently, what happened is the bird came through power lines and actually took a shot from the power lines. That's the fire.
Yeah, that was a 40-acre fire up in Montana.
Right.
Firefighters are like trying to get this thing under control, and this is how good their investigations are now. They can extrapolate what happened even on massive fires. But there's the snake again.
I'm not laughing. I'm just fascinated
No,
by
that's so
this.
freaky.
He's still holding the snake.
And he's flat. I mean, he's flat. He's
Well,
like
he was
paper
on-
thin flat.
He was on fire. So,
Yeah, but he's wow.
do you have another one? Because I know they went crazy on this.
I know they were all excited, like we have 6 of these, and I'm like, no,
Right.
really,
that's
plenty.
that's okay.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you. We're done now.
All right, thanks guys. It's the morning stream with Todd and Erin. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, and so we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.